Plaintiff Claretha Campbell says when she was in her 30s, she found out that her father had been intimate with the defendant's mother, who was married at the time. However, Claretha believes the defendant is a result of that affair, so she petitioned for a DNA test to see if they are half-siblings. Defendant Gayleen Tomlinson and her sister Deborah Curry say Gayleen had an amazing father, and when she found out he may not be her biological father, she was shocked. Gayleen claims her mother denied this affair until the day she died, so she's not sure what to believe.
And we are here for a DNA test.
Yes.
Siblings to determine that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Start with you then.
Just imagine being in your 30s, you find out that you might have a sister. Because...
You say you're 30?
No, I said 30. No. I said when I was 30.
You said at 30 years old. You say imagine at 30 years old, Judge. That's what you said.
Well,
didn't she?
I got the same thing.
She said, imagine at 30 years old. That's saying that I'm 30. That she's 30.
Right.
Not when I was 30.
Okay. That's
when
the
I
part
was
of it.
30.
All right. You look just a few years older than 30, not much more, like 35, 33.
Well, you making me feel good, but thank you.
Go ahead. Gotta clean that up.
Kind of calming me down now, because I am so nervous, you know?
See, that's why I add a little levity or a little humor to things, because I know some folks are nervous when they come here. They don't know what type of day I'm having. They say we don't know what he on today, because he be on some stuff sometimes. And so I'm on some fun today. You don't have to worry about me being mean. Good. Go ahead. So what did you find out when you were 30? What did you find out?
That I might have another sister.
How did you find that out?
Well, you know, where I live at is a very small town in Georgia. So everybody knows everyone, you know, just about. So in the 90s, early 90s, I found out, you know, a neighbor of mine called and said to come meet my sister.
You said I'm in the decade of the 90s.
Yes.
All right, you know me and you got to keep these years.
Hey.
See, I'll make you feel better and better, right?
I'm from the South.
Your nervousness is gone.
I'm from the South, okay?
Go ahead.
But anyway.
In your 90s, no, in the 90s, in the 90s.
In the 90s, a neighbor called and, you know, he told me to come over to meet my sister. Wow. And he said, it's his niece from New York. So I said,
You're referring to?
Gayleen.
Mm-hmm.
Plaintiff Claretha Campbell claims her father had an affair with the defendant's mother, and she believes the defendant may be a product of that affair. So she petitioned the court for a DNA test to see if they are siblings.
Go ahead.
So I called my dad and I asked him, you know, do we have a sister? And he said, well, you might. Gayleen's mother had told him that she could be his daughter. And because they had, you know, when she come home to visit, they had a relationship. And he said that, you know, they didn't press the issue because she was married and she moved back to New York.
She was already married when they had the relationship?
Yes. So when we met, we bonded.
And that was back then? It's when you all met?
Back then.
And what type of relationship have you all had since?
It was great. It's great.
Mm-hmm. You all don't live in, do you live in the same city now?
No, sir.
All right.
She lives in California and I'm in Georgia.
Okay. And you all just kind of, you visit with each other over the years?
When she comes home, we make sure we get together.
Okay.
Yeah. And she'll stay over and I cook her some Southern breakfast or dinner.
Good.
So, I mean, it's
a background from you.
Well, I come from a very happy family. I come from a loving dad that I wouldn't trade for anything in the world. So when I found out that it might be a possibility at the age of 25 years old, back then, back in the day, that I possibly have a biological father other than the one that I've known to be mine, I was taken aback. I still am. I was at a family reunion getting my plate, and one of the ladies whispering loudly said, "She looks like one of the Palmer girls." And I'm thinking, well, you know, some of us all look like somebody else, so, you know, that's fine with me. And then somebody else said it, and I questioned it, and I asked my aunt, I said, everywhere I go, they kind of whispering about me and pointing at me. I said, what's going on? Well, baby, your aunt, your mother, she didn't tell you, but Tickle Palmer might be your daddy.
Who is this? I mean, what relations were these folks?
Great aunts. And they were, and it was just shocking, you know?
You were in your 20s?
I was about 27 years old.
Had you, and you had seen them over the years in the past?
Yes, with my mother. When my mother accompanied me, nobody said a word. I was out there by myself. Oh, my mother, she was livid.
Wow.
She totally denied, said that everybody's lying but her. And of course, I believed my mother. But then I come back again in 5 years, and here we go again.
What happened 5 years later?
I came back out again, and then I stayed and visited my sister because I met her, and she was so friendly and loving. I just took to her. And I said, anything is possible because I know your parents do the best to protect you. And my mom was married. You know, I said, so it could have happened. So we did bond, but I still had doubt in my mind. I need to know I've been through cancer. I've been sick. I got double cancer. So I just wanted to know, but I don't want anybody to be my dad but my dad. Yeah, I'm going to welcome her and love her regardless. But my dad was the best dad ever.
And what does your mother tell you?
My mother, she's dead. She's passed. But even when she got older and maybe ill, she said that is not true. She had nothing she had not an affair with him. My daddy is my daddy, and do not believe that mess. So that made me torn. And when Claretha asked me, she said, Gayleen, are you going along with being my sister just because, you know, you don't want to hurt our feelings and stuff? I said, I do love you. I really do have grown. But yes, I am, because I am in denial as well.
How long prior to your mother passing did she tell you that wasn't the case?
My mother denied until she's passed.
That's what I meant. She had always said no.
Would get hot.
You say you ask her how many months or years before she passed. What I'm trying to get to is the closer a person gets to transition, the more likely they are to tell the truth.
About 8 or 9 years ago, just before her passing. She was.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. 6 months before, a year before?
I say about maybe about 6 months before.
Okay, you said, Mom, okay.
Yeah, I asked her again. I know she wasn't doing that well. And then, you know, when they get a little sick, they have a fear. She was saying, I don't want to die alone. She was talking this dying nonsense or whatever. So I asked her again, and she adamantly, she denied it.
Plaintiff Claretha Campbell claims her father had an affair with the defendant's mother. She believes the defendant may be a product of that affair. So she petitioned the court for a DNA test to see if they are siblings.
And what do you believe?
I want to believe she's my sister because I really love her.
But from your things you've heard, tell me what you've heard over the years.
Well, the thing is, that's when I first heard it, you know, back when we were 30. And like I said...
There's never been any other input from others since then? All right, you found out when you were 30. Now you're 35.
Yeah.
And so since that time, over the course of that time, have you heard anything different? She is telling me about folks that are messy.
Aunts, yeah.
They are messy. Her great aunts, in my opinion,
Uncles.
are messy to bring this stuff to her as a young lady. And to keep it going, it sounds like. So much so that she's still pursuing the truth. And so my point was, what has been happening with you since that time? They never let her go from the messiness. Did you ever have to be subjected to the messiness of the gossip among family members?
No. And just
that's what
really,
this really is.
Really, I didn't never try to force it neither. You know, when we found out that we were sisters, we left it alone right there. So, but just lately, I asked my dad again. And he said, far as I know, she said, I could have been. I could be. But after she passed and she said I wasn't, he said, then this is where I stand. He wants to know also. So I told him, I said, okay. I called her. I said, well, do you want to let's go on Judge Mathis' show to get our DNA? And she said, yes. So I said, Dad, come on.
For him to be the father, he would have had an affair with a married woman?
I guess that would happen.
And vice versa? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, he took upon me. He told me that he was my dad. He told me he was.
And it was only your mom and your
And
mom
aunt,
was the
yeah,
most
my
adamant.
mother's the only one down there denying it. Yes.
Your mother was the only
Yeah,
one.
she was adamant. We would get in fights. I would like, Mom, please tell me, and get angry and stuff. She said, I don't know why they're doing this to you, because I said it's kind of embarrassing when people are pointing at you and you have your, your what's known to be your dad back there. You should have been able to tell me that. And she says, no. So
well, let's go with Mama. I usually go with mamas.
Yeah.
Men don't tell the truth at a higher rate when relationships than women. Women are usually a lot more honest. And with that regard, I'm going to go with what she says. And I don't know if you would like that, the fact that there might not be, or Mama says you all are not related. And for y'all to be related, somebody had to have an affair. I know you're ready to find out the truth, so let's get to it.
Tune in tomorrow when Judge Mathis will reveal the results of today's DNA test.